This video is going to be just a little bit different than the other ones because we've gone over the process of starting from scratch and creating. So I wanted to go a little bit more advanced and not sort of waste the time, well, not waste the time, but take the time to go over the artwork. So I'm going to start in the middle here. You would start this one just like you did all the other ones. If you had a new tab like this, you would type in make code. Excuse me, and then hit that, and then you choose Microbit, and then you would come here and do new project, give the project a title. I'm going to call this one Superhero Compass, and you'll understand why in a second. But I would do that, and then keep in mind when you do that, and I'll go back to my code, my code here. You have to download the right extension, so you'd go here and then you'd put the right URL. Whoops, wrong one. You come here and go to go here, back to the Google Drive, and do how to install. And by now you probably have put this into a place that makes it a little bit more accessible to your students. And then you would grab that. Oops. There we go. All right, put this back up here. And put this back up here. So I went to the Google Drive, I copied the URL, I would paste it in here, and then hit enter, and then I would click on here. But I've already done that for this file, so I'm not going to do it. And then that would give you your PixelBox. So that's where I was, and then I created 4 images here. This is, and let me zoom in a little bit. So this is when we get a little bit more creative. This is Iron Man. This is the Hulk. This is Wonder Woman, and this one over here is Spider-Man. And you can see I've defined them just like we've done our images before. I set the variable name. I have the function show Wonder Woman, and then I set the variable name Wonder Woman, create the image Wonder Woman, do all the rows, set Wonder Woman here, rows 0 through 7, and then the show image Wonder Woman down here, and then create the image. And once again, student could scratch this out on the scratch sheets we have with the colored pencils. They could do it on the trays that we have, or they could use the website, or they may be able to just eyeball it and freelance it that way. So that's when they can be creative. I'll show you where I got these. In fact, I'll show you now. Let's go back to our Google Drive. And I have a file in here. It's a PowerPoint called 8x8 image samples. And if you click on that, this one actually leads into the next video that I'm going to do. I found this pretty cool website. A guy who takes you through doing 8x8 pixel art, pixel characters, and I think that's sort of cool. You may want to use that in your class, so I put this here for you. And I also put in here some templates, and these are 8x8 pixels of superheroes. So I found this online, and then you can see I got where's Wonder Woman? She's in here somewhere. I got the Hulk from here. I got Spider-Man from here. I got their Iron Man's a little different than the one that I got. I must use a little bit different file. But there's the Iron Man there, and here's Wonder Woman here. So yeah, so you have this as a template. There's Thor, there's Batman, Robin. It's amazing that you can still get some kind of detail only having 8x8 pixels. It goes to the understanding of an icon and what an icon really means. And so most of these are recognizable, some of them aren't, but there you go. I also included in here some game characters. So this is some Mario Brothers. You got some Ninja Turtles in here. Pikachu's down here. You have the Ghost from Pac-Man. That's where I got the Ghost from my previous video. You've got some other Mario Brother characters here. So there you go. That's something to get people started. Here's some dinosaurs. Once again, some more Pokemon. Couple other characters, some generic characters that come from other games, a glass of wine, a lock, other things. And then, there's some food here. So you could use these as templates to design your own examples, or you can show up to your students to have them do it, to give them a place to start for those who may not feel as creative that particular day. So that's where I got those from. Let me get this out of the way. And that, once again, was included here in your 8x8 image samples on the Google Drive. So that's there for you if you want it. All right, let me get this out of the way. So that's where I got those. But I already put them in here to sort of save a little bit of time, because what I wanted to focus on is, once again, just manipulating these images a little bit more. I'm going to start off with something simple, something actually we've already done, but I want to give it a little twist here. So I'm going to pop this code in here, and then I'm going to take this variable out. All right, so now let me zoom in and show you what I did here. I already had this code sort of done. So we've done this before. When we download this, we're going to show Wonder Woman, wait for a second. It's 1,000 milliseconds. Show the Hulk, wait for 1,000 milliseconds. Show Spider-Man, and let's go to 1,000 here, 1 second, and then wait for a second after showing Iron Man until we loop back around and start over. So let's download this and see what's up here. See if my connections are all steady. You can see I've already been doing some work. I put Wonder Woman up there. See if my download's working. Might not be. I've gone through, and there it is. So there you go. So now it's looping through, and it shows a lot better in person. Once again, my lighting is getting a little wonky here as the day goes on. Let me see if I can make this a little bit better. Just leave well enough alone. So there you go. Those are my characters: the Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Wonder Woman, and it's looping through and following the instructions in our forever loop right here. And a quick note: you can see over here on the simulator that it is showing the images. It's just it shows it all as one row, and so that's why it looks sort of messed up. Eventually, I hope to be able to get a clearer look here so students can actually do this and design in the simulated environment as well. But for right now, this is where we are. Okay, so what I want to do is something a little bit different here. Oh, before I go to that, let me do here. It is a bit of a pain having to type this in over and over again. So I just wanted to show you that if we came here and we had a variable, and I already did a variable called delay. If you created a variable, I called it delay. You could call it anything. And if you defined a variable, whoops, didn't mean to do that. In fact, let me start from scratch. Let me get rid of the variable, and then let me come back and put it in there. So if I don't want to type this over and over again, let's say if I wanted to make this go faster, then I got to come in here and click all 4 of these to make it go faster, to put the same delay between each one. Well, there's a faster way to do it. If I create a variable and I call it delay, or I could call it what I want it to, and then I set that value here when I start. I set that value to, let's say we're going to make it move faster, so I'll set it to 500, and that will be 500 milliseconds. And then I come here and grab that variable, and instead of having the number typed in here, I'm going to put that variable in there like that. Then I'm going to duplicate it, put that in there, duplicate it, put that in there, and duplicate it, put that in there. Now, whenever I can change all 4 of these by simply changing this value here, and it gives me a little bit, it makes it a little bit easier to play with my animation. So let me move this over, and we see that's ticking along at a 1 second interval between each image. So now let's change that to 500 milliseconds. Keep in mind this number is in milliseconds when you go to pause. And let's download this and let's see if it'll move any faster. So now they're bopping along and they're moving pretty fast. Let's take it down to 100, which would be a 1/10 of a second. Click it. Let's see if they'll move even faster. So there we go. So now they're moving really fast, right? Okay, and then we could take it and we can make it, if we made 5,000, so that's 5 seconds between each one. And so this is a way to use variables to your advantage, make your code a little bit more flexible, and that way you can sort of play with your animation speed, that kind of thing. You can actually make it so you can change that speed upon pressing A. Maybe the animation speed goes to 100, and pressing B it goes to another. Let's try that here. Let's go input, and then so if I press A, let's start off and we'll set the animation speed to 5,000, and if I press A, I want my animation speed to be 100, and then let's duplicate this. Then if I press B, I want my animation speed to be 5,000. And how about, so that's 5 seconds, and then how about let's do another one here. Press A plus B, so if I push them at the same time, let's make my delay 1 second. Alright, so now if I hit download, let's do this. I haven't done this before, I just thought of this while I was making the video, so I'm off script here. So there we go, it's loaded. It's got a 5-second pause between each one. If I hit the A button, does it get faster? There you go. So I hit the A button, now it's faster. If I hit the B button, it should go back to 5-second intervals. There you go. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. There we go. And then if I do them both at the same time, A and B, should be a second. Maybe I didn't hit them at the same time here. There you go. So now it's 1 second between them. So you can see, and I'm sorry, you can't see the buttons here. These are the buttons. They're right here. Let me see if I can get my light to come on here. There we go. There we go. So I was hitting the A button and then the B button over here. So there you go. So that's a little bit of interaction. So that's one interaction you can do. But I want to do another one because I did entitle this Superhero Compass. So I thought it'd be sort of cool if we use the compass feature in our microbit. So let me go here and let me remove this stuff and put it down here. Put this, and once again, let me put it all over here. Clean up my workspace. Whoops, didn't mean to put those together. And then I don't really want the on A and on B stuff now, so I'll get rid of that over here. Okay, and what I want to do is something else. And I could clean up here by shrinking these all down, but they're really not in the way, so I'll leave them up. Now I want to do something. I already have the code here, sort of ghost mode, but I want to build it for you, so I'll use it as a scratch sheet here. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to take advantage of the compass that's built in to the microbit, right? And I think in order to do this, I'm going to have to change out microbits because I've already calibrated the compass that's inside of the microbit that I'm using, and I want to take you through the calibration process as well. So what you do is what I did was you create a variable. I created a variable called degrees, right? Just like you created other variable. In fact, let me get rid of this one, and then yeah, that's okay. I'll make a new one, so make variable, I'll call it degrees. Okay, and there it is there. And so what I want to start off is I want to set the value of degrees to, let's go back in here to input, and if you scroll down, I want to set it equal, you don't have to scroll down, there it is, to the compass heading. So the microbit has built in a compass in it. It has a magnometer in it that actually is a compass. And so I'm going to set the value of degrees to whatever the value of the compass heading is. That will be a value from 0 to 360, or actually from 0 to 359, and then it starts over at 0 again. In fact, I've included in here, I've included a helper file here that's called Superhero Compass. And so if you click this, image will come up. And so this is our Superhero Compass, right? And the way that the compass inside the microbit works is anything from 0 to 45 degrees is considered north. Right? In fact, anything from 315 to 0 and then 0 to 45 is considered north. Right? So this is a good math exercise if your students, if you want to get them into how to read a compass and degrees and 360 and all that, you can do that. But anything between 0 and 45, so any degree that's less than 45 is considered north, and we're going to say Iron Man is in that direction. Anything anything between 135 and 45, which in this case would be anything, once we've checked to see if something's less than 45, if it's not less than 45, then the next level up is it less than 135. And so that would give us the range from 135 to 45, which is here. Then the next level up, that's east, and we're going to recognize that with the Hulk. Then over here, the next level up is going to be south, which is between 225 and 135. And so that's going to be anything that doesn't pass the less than 135 test is over here now. And so if it's less than 225, it'll be in this range, which we'll call that south. And then if it doesn't pass that test, then it's greater than 225. And so it will be, we'll check to see if it's less than 315. And that will get us over here. This is west, which we'll say Spider-Man is west. And then we come back here. If it's greater than 315, then it will also be considered north because of how the compass goes in cycles like this. And so from 315 to 360 will also be considered north, just as 0 to 45 is. And so there we go. So that's the compass. And that's what we're going to do. So if we're facing our PixelBox anywhere from 0 to 45 or from 315 to 360, that's going to be north. And we're going to show Iron Man. If it's facing east, 135 to 45, it's going to be, we're going to show the Hulk, and that's east. South, 225 to 135, we'll show Wonder Woman. And then west will be above 225 to 315, we're going to show Spider-Man, right? And so there's a lot of good math in here, good science in here, how to read a compass, that whole thing, and then sort of making it fun with the characters. You could just as easily have them do the letters N, E, S, and W, or you could even break this down into northeast, southeast. You can do the ranges any way you want to. These are the ranges that I did. I did 90-degree chunks out of the compass, and so that's what I did to keep it sort of simple. So that slide is available to you as well. So put that back up here. Okay, so let's see how we do this. We're going to use something that we haven't used before. We're going to use an if statement. An if statement allows us to look at a value and then to do something depending on what range that value's in, right? And we can test for that range using our greater than and less than, or our greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. We're just going to use greater than, we're just going to use less than here to implement our compass. So let's do this. Let's go into logics. The if statement is under logic. So I go here and I'm going to make multiple decisions. So I'm going to use the if else block. And I guess I can make this a little bit bigger, although this is going to get long. So I think this is a good size. So we're going to use the if else box. And the way an if else works is it's going to check a statement that we're going to put in here. In fact, let me make this bigger here so you can see the basics here. We're going to check a statement. We're going to put a statement in here. And if that statement is true, then we're going to do whatever blocks we put in this area here between this if and this else, right? And then we're going to keep modifying this to take in all the cases that we have for north, south, east, and west, or north, east, south, and west. All right, so I go back into my logic, and I want to check to see if something is less than. So I'm going to grab this, and put this in here, right? And then I want to see, and let me go to my notes here to make sure I get this right. If my degrees are less than 45, if my degrees are less than 45, then I want to show Iron Man. Let's check ourselves here. If our degree is less than 45, we want to show Iron Man. All right, so let's implement that. Yeah, so I'm going to go to my variables and get degrees and put that in here. Put that in there, right? You have to be careful. If you watch out, you look at where the little red dot is. That little red dot can get hung a lot of places, so make sure you're replacing the right thing. So if my degrees are less than, I'm going to type in 45. Then I'm going to go down and get my functions, and I'm going to show Iron Man. Okay. Here, I need an else if, not just an else. So what I got to do is add here, and I want to make another check. So else, in other words, if degrees aren't less than 45, that means they must be greater than 45. So when they're greater than 45, that means I'm in this range. I want to check for this range here. So if I get to, can I put both of these up? Let me see if I can split the screen and put both of these up for now. I think that'd be helpful. Okay, yeah, let's do that. All right, so if I get to, if I'm greater than 45, then this is false, and then I go down to this one. If I'm less than 45, then I will execute this statement, and then I will come out of the whole if statement. So here, if I'm greater than 45, if this isn't true, actually if I'm equal to or greater than, I haven't talked about the equal to's. I could put greater than or equal to here. The greater than or equal to, excuse me, or the less than, I'm sorry. I could put less than or equal to here. That's the less than with a line under it. So I don't know if you can see that little line there. Let me get this bigger. In computer science, this is the symbol for less than or equal. Well, excuse me, in math, that's the symbol for less than or equal to. In computer science, we have an equal after the greater than, or the less than symbol. So, but anyhow, so that's less than or equal to. So if degrees are less than or equal to 45, or I could just use less than. In this case, we don't have to be that accurate. I'll use less than. Then we're going to show Iron Man. If that's not true, now we're going to down here and make another test. So I'm going to copy this here, or duplicate that, put that in there, and I'm going to test now to see if my degree is less than 135, right? If I'm less than 135, then according to my diagram here, that's where I'm going to find the Hulk. So I'm going to come back down here to function, grab show Hulk, and show the Hulk. So if I pass this test, I'm less than 45, then I'll show Iron Man, and then I'll come out of the if statement. I'm done, right? If I am not less than 45, then I make a test here to see if I'm less than 135, which means I'll be in this range here, and then I'll show the Hulk. Now I need one for Wonder Woman down here, so I'm going to hit plus and get me another else, another if statement, and I'm going to duplicate this, put this in here, and then now I'm going to change my degrees to 225. If I'm less than 225, now because I got to this statement, that means I'm greater than 135, so, or I'm 135 or greater, so then I'm in this range down here, and then I'm checking for less than 225. And then I go to function, and I'm going to show Wonder Woman. And then the next one is if I'm less, so I need another if statement to check here. If I'm less than 315 here, because if I get to this range, I'm not less than 45, I'm not less than 135, I'm not less than 225, which means I'm 225 or greater, which that means I'm in this range. So I want to check to see if I'm less than 315, and if I am, go down to functions, and I'm going to show Spider-Man. Now, here I can go one of two ways. My degrees are only going to be from 0 to 360. So if I haven't passed any of these tests up to this point, that means I'm over here in this range, which means I'm going to show Iron Man. So I could check for that, or I could just use the default because the only thing I can be by this point is over here. So I could just say else. If none of these are true, that means I'm over here. Then I want to show Iron Man again. So I'm going to put Iron Man down here. This is perfectly fine, right? This is using the else. The else is like the default. Nothing else was true. I know my value is going to be from 0 to 359. So if none of these are true, then I have to be greater than 315 or 315 or greater. And I have to be in between that 315 and 360 range. So therefore I'm in here, right? So I show Iron Man. That's one way to do it. Or I could be very explicit and put another if in here. Duplicate that, put that here, and say if my degree is less than 360, then where'd my Iron Man thing go? There it is. Then show Iron Man, and then I don't need the else, so I just would get rid of that by hitting that minus sign there, and then I'm very explicit about what I'm going to do. So either way, using the else if and checking to see if it's less than 360, and then calling show Iron Man is fine, or I could use it in an else statement. So either way works. So this is how you implement the logic, the real world logic here that's going on with the compass. I implement it in code here with this if statement, this conditional statement. Okay. All right. So let me get rid of this and make this bigger. All right. And shrink this down a bit. Now, I think I don't want to put this here. I think I want to put this in my forever loop, because if I did it in the on start, then it's only going to do it once when it's only going to check once when I start it up. And so it won't change if I move my PixelBox around. What I want to do is I want it to change when I move the PixelBox around. So I'm going to put it in the forever loop, so it's forever checking. It's forever going to set the degrees and then check to see where it is and then display the corresponding image, right? So let's do that. Now I'm going to download this, and I'm going to change microbits because I want you to see the calibration process as well, right? And there's a way to force the calibration, but they said if you turn it off and unplug it and plug it back in, it will do a calibration. It will have to go through a calibration cycle again. I turned the one I have in here off and plugged it back in, and the calibration was still there. So I'm going to start with a new microbit to see if this works. All right, so let's go. Let me show you here. All right, so I'm going to unplug this microbit and take it out. I'm going to plug a new one in. I have a new one over here. This one's blue. I'm going to put this one in. Okay, I'm going to move I don't need the PixelBox right now. To calibrate your microbit, it probably is better that you take it out of the PixelBox, because we still have these cables hooked up, to get it to go 360. Because what they're going to ask you to do is when we bring this up, if it needs calibration, it's going to scroll some red text across here that says, what does it say? Fill all the red, tilt to fill the red display. And so these little red lights are going to start blinking, and I'm going to have to tilt them in all directions. I don't know what it's doing now, but I'm going to have to tilt them in all directions till I fill this display, and then this will be calibrated to know what north, south, east, and west are properly. So I'm going to go ahead and download to this microbit. And you see I changed microbit, so I got to go through some pairing again. So let's pair this and hope this works. Okay, I'm done pairing. Now it's downloading. It's taking a minute. That concerns me. Okay, this might be where I have to cut the video and get out of my code and come back. So it says it's downloaded. Okay, so there it says, if you look at that, it says tilt to fill, screen. Okay, so now I've got to tilt this thing, and you see as I tilt it, these little red lights, more and more of them. Now you have a bit of a time limit here. So as I do this, as I tilt it towards the blinking light. And the first time I did this, you got to really tilt it, and you get more and more. I got to get the upper right hand corner to fill out. You almost got to turn it upside down in some cases to get it to fill. Now I'm going to tilt it to the left. You see, and if you don't do it fast enough, it starts you over. So I would practice this before I had the students do it. So what I'm going to do is come off the screen so I got more room to sort of do this properly. So I'm still tilting here, but you can't see me because I'm off screen. I almost got them all. That last right corner. There you go. So I got it all. So I got them all tilted, and so now it's going to give me a smiley face. And that means that I have properly calibrated this compass. And so now, if I plug this into our PixelBox, it should respond accordingly. Make sure I'm plugged in here. So now it happens that this direction for me in my home is south. If I turn, let me get the cables out of the way here. Let's do it this way. So now if that was south, and I turn it to the left, that's east. If I turn it back towards me, and east is the Hulk. Okay, why is it not registering north? Okay, that's not good. Let's get it back around here. I'm having power issues again because I have this loose cable. Yeah, I got loose stuff going on. Let's see if I can get it tight enough for this example. Yeah. So if I turn it this way, that's east. That's back to south. Turn it this way. That's north. That's not north. My calibration must be way off, because that's not, yeah, because I'm not getting Spider-Man at all. Maybe my code is wrong. Maybe I did the code wrong. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting glitches here. So this is a cool thing. Okay, my pins are coming off. There you go. Started getting north there, and then if I go all the way around, can I get... No, maybe my code is wrong. Let me go back. Let's look at our code, because I'm getting too much Iron Man here. Nope, I'm supposed to get Spider-Man if I go east. Let me download it again, since I've done my calibrations. Let's see what we get here. Nope. Yeah, I probably need to recalibrate this. And now it is registering east with Spider-Man. And then there's Wonder Woman, the Hulk. Iron Man's coming in too much. I'm looking at my code to make sure I have that right. Yeah, that's right. But maybe this one's not calibrated properly. Let me go back to my other one now that I've shown you calibration here. And let's see if that one, if this one's working properly. Okay, so yeah. So this one appears that the calibration is a little bit better, but maybe not. Maybe I got something going on in my house that's causing the compass to freak out. All right, let's download this again. I'm gonna have to repair, or maybe not. South, east, south, west, north. There you go. There you go. North. Oh, y'all can't see it. North, west, south, and east. There you go. And so this is another way to use the internals of the microbit. calibration may be a little bit off sometimes. You may have to recalibrate, but it's pretty cool that you can do that kind of work with the microbit, and it's a good way of explaining the if statement. So there you go. It's another example. I got one more video to make for you guys, which is really more artistic than coding. I just want to show you how an artist, or how someone who is used to making 8-bit images does it. And so we'll do that. All right. Thank you again for teaching, for helping out the students, and once again, go Jackets.